Hey y'all, I'm coming to you with a video response to Miss Cutie HU Alumni 2012. I'm kind of aggravated because I made this video. It was a great video. I made it on our laptop. I always listen to my videos before I post them. I went to post a video and it wouldn't play back. I went to play it. It wouldn't play back, and all of a sudden our laptop just kabootied out. So yeah, this is what's on my nails. I did them Saturday. Pretty much she asked me some great questions because her husband is getting ready to go into the army, and I answered all of her questions, but I also decided to do a video response. That's my husband's uniform, right over my shoulder. So if you have any questions, feel free to, ask me. And I do respond to the questions. I respond to questions, and depending on how many questions you ask, I may make a video. Okay. First question, I'm going to try to make this, not super long. The first question that she asked me is, how do you get an ID when your husband is gone? February will make 2 years that we have been an Army family. We have been in our first duty station for a year now. Pretty much when they go to basic, we went, we're from South Georgia. My husband's MEPS, he left out of Jacksonville. So we drove, my mother-in-law, my brother-in-law, and myself, we drove the night before. Sorry, y'all, I'm on my phone. So we drove and we went to the MEPS location and we saw him swear in. We didn't actually leave until he got on the bus to leave to go to Fort Jackson, which is South Carolina, which is where his basic training was. They told us, while we were waiting, that we were supposed to get a packet once he got to Fort Jackson. We were supposed to get a packet pretty much giving us the forms that we need for IDs, giving us information on TRICARE. My face, I don't know why I'm breaking out a little bit. But they were supposed to send us all that. Okay. Well, I never got these papers and forms. I didn't. I didn't get anything. I was kind of freaking out because, I'm like, I want to have everything before he graduates from basic training. I want to have my ID just in case, I needed to get, on post at Fort Jackson. He went to the people that were supposed to send it. He got permission, even though, he was in basic and they're having to do some things. They do have a little bit of downtime. He went, he asked them, they were like, they didn't know why I didn't get the whole packet. But they went ahead and they gave him the form that I needed. They was like, they didn't know how they could resend me the packet, but they would just give him the form that he needed so I can at least get my ID. So that's what we did. He, because when you're in basic, pretty much all you have is letters. So I was writing him like 3 times a week, and he would write me whenever he could. He went ahead and in one of his letters, he sent me the form that I needed to get my ID. There is an Air Force base in our hometown. So I pretty much just called them to make sure everything I had to bring in addition to the form, of course. And I went and I got my ID. You can go to any military installation, be it Air Force. We are Army family, but it doesn't matter. You can go to Air Force base, or Army post. You can go to a naval base. You can go to a Marine post. You can go to Coast Guard. It doesn't matter. As long as it's an actual military post and they have, military installation and they have ID place. Like if you have somewhere that's near you. What I suggest is that you call them first to see what all you have to bring. I'm trying to get to where the door is not just right there in a way. Call them first to see what all you have to bring. The Air Force base that's in our hometown is really small, so it wasn't like it was a long line or anything. So it maybe took me 15, 20 minutes to get my ID, and that was it. Yeah. Now, the next question that she asked me was working after you PCS is, you move with the military. A disclaimer, everything that I go over, I always say in all of my Army videos, it is as an experience as a wife. Because we were married for 1.5 years before my husband went into the military. We actually had our second wedding anniversary while he was in AIT. So all of my experiences, are as a wife. Now, I got unemployment when we first got here. Some states, which Georgia is one, Georgia's our home state, have where, if you move for the military, you automatically get unemployment. You just have to send them. What I had to do is I had to send them, I scanned and emailed a copy of his orders. There is a time period, like we had to be here. We had to check in here at our first duty station October 1st. I left my last job September 26th. But they actually give you, I think it's 30 days. It may even be 60 days from the time you leave to the time that the orders say you have to be at your duty station. But I would recommend that before you actually leave your job, talk to them, which is what I did. I talked to them. Once we found out where we were going to be stationed, I went to talk to the unemployment people. I'm not working now. I haven't actually worked since I've been here. One reason is because, it's like you have to do a lot when you move, when you PCS. There's a lot involved in it, especially like for your spouse. They're going to be having to do different briefings and stuff like that. So if you only have one vehicle like we do, yes, it's going to be kind of hard. Plus, if you have one vehicle, you have to kind of get into a routine. But yeah, another reason why we decided that I was not going to work is because I've been working for over 15 years. Since I was 15, I've worked with no like break or anything whatsoever. Yeah, no gap. Before we PCS'd, the longest that I had without an actual job from the time I was 15 was like a week. So yeah. So you want to take that into consideration too. Also, where we are, it is a very large military installation. It's a very large post. We have like 2 or 3 high schools. Now, this is all on post. We have like 2 or 3 high schools. We have like 3 or 4 middle schools and about 3 or 4 elementary schools. And a lot of people that have been stationed here or like in the past, a lot of people retire here because the cost of living is very good. It is somewhat still in the South. The cost of living is very good. Housing is very good. So a lot of people stay here once they get out of the military, or even if they've been stationed here in the past, they come back here once they retire because it's very affordable. That's great, but it makes it harder for people that are non-military. Because I went to one place that's here on post, and pretty much the guy was just pretty much telling me like, oh, it's going to be kind of hard, blah, blah, blah. There is a family readiness center, FRC, where they help you find a job. I didn't go there. I went somewhere else. I'm going to go to the FRC just because the holidays are coming up, and because we have some trips that we want to take next year. I do want to try to find me a little something just so I can have some extra money in my pocket. So that's, she asked me about working. Okay, housing. I did make a housing video, but my views on housing have changed. Now, I will say that nobody can tell you, just like I said in my first video, nobody can tell you what's best for you and your soldier, you and your spouse. You may find that housing is better for y'all to stay off post. You may find that it's better for y'all to stay on post. Initially, I did it based on the hard dollar cent, the dollar amount. I looked at the base housing allowance, which is, money that you get for housing. You can only get it if you live off post. It's calculated based on the cost of living and stuff, the average for your zip code that you're going to be stationed at. Now, when your spouse is in basic training and AIT, you get it based on your home state. That's one other thing I will back up as far as working. when your spouse, your soldier is in AIT and basic training, if you're married, again, this is if you're married, you still get like the housing money, you get food allowance, you get those extra benefits even though they're not with you. So there is an opportunity to save money depending on like for us, depending on if you're having to use like the housing to pay your rent, which we didn't. I worked, so we didn't. If you're, so depending on what your actual monthly expenses, you may have a big opportunity to save. And see, for us, which goes, calculates into, how quickly, you need to find a job, just so your family can be good. Like for us, before my husband even went into the military, our vehicle, like our truck, was paid off. So our expenses, honestly, is really low. Like our monthly expenses, only thing we have is cell phones. We have cable and internet, and then we got all new furniture when we got here. So we pay on our bedroom suite. Everything else is paid for. So yeah, because like I said, there is a big opportunity depending for you to save money. So I just wanted to back up and say that. So keep in mind, be mindful of your spending when your soldier is in basic training in AIT, because you could be saving quite a bit of money that will go towards once you actually move. Okay. Like I said, housing. We found out, you're supposed to find out midway through AIT. We found out at the end. We found out where my husband was going to be stationed about 6 weeks before he graduated, which he was the second to the last person in his class to find out. Everybody else, they started finding out soon, and he was in AIT for 16 weeks. So yeah, he was well over halfway done. She did ask, do you get your first choice? Because her fear is she doesn't want to go overseas. You don't get your first choice. Not when you're first getting into the military. To be honest, you don't. Everyone that I personally know that is married, they did not go overseas their first duty station. Now, people that are single, that are not married, I know people that went overseas. People that were in my husband's basic training in AIT, primarily AIT. They went overseas, which I'm going to talk about that also at the end. So yeah, the place where we're stationed was not even. This wasn't even on my husband's pick. You get like that wish list where they give you like 4, I think, possible places 4 or 5 that you could pick your ideal locations. Yeah, this wasn't even one of those, and we got stationed here. As far as housing, once you find out where you're going, you can start to research and look to see. You can go to army.mil, and you put in where you're going to be stationed, and they give you the average cost of rent, utilities. They give you all that. It's all, they have it on the website for you. So they actually make it kind of easy for you. You can go to wherever you're going to be stationed. You can go to that post their official page, and they'll tell you different locations that are blacklisted. Like they kind of frown upon you living there. It could be a number of reasons. It could be that the landlord, the owners are known to be scam artists. It could be that the living conditions in those locations are really bad. So yeah, they have all of that for you. Now, what I did was once we finally found out where we were going to be stationed, I looked at the cost of living. I looked at the housing allowance, and I said, okay, well, is it going to be cost efficient for us to live off post? For us, honestly, it was not. It really was not. The amount of money that we were going to be, we weren't going to be saving anything, honestly. Because once you calculate the average cost of rent, the average cost of the utilities, and then also calculate gas, we weren't saving anything. Keep in mind that, with the military, they have PT every morning, Monday through Friday. So on average, my husband gets up about 5:45, 6 o'clock, and sorry y'all, and he goes to PT, and he comes home around 8 o'clock or so, all sweaty, everything. He takes a shower, and he has to be actually to work at about 9:30 ish, just depending. Then my husband also, sorry y'all, my husband comes home, for lunch. If we lived off post, quite a distance, he may have to just bring all his stuff with him and shower and change and stuff here on post, because he may not have enough time to get all the way back to our house. So for us, it was also a more of a convenience thing. So first we looked at the money aspect, and then we also looked at the convenience thing. Third, this was what was the deciding factor for us. We thought about it. We're not even in the same state. We're not in our home state of Georgia. So we don't know anyone here. So we pretty much was like, we're going to go ahead and live on post. Hold on, y'all. Y'all, I don't know what's going on with this weather. But we're going to live on post at least for like the first year or so. That way, we can get a feel for it. That's what we said. Because once you actually live, if you decide to live on post, you can live on post for 2 months and decide, hey, we're gonna live off post. It's completely up to you. Like, it's not like you're signing a quote unquote contract. Everything is month to month. So if you decide that you want to live on post, you can always choose to live off post. Now, those 3 reasons were what we decided. And that's what I put in my first video. However, there have been changes to that. Now I'm very happy. I'm very satisfied with our house that we have. We have a 2-bedroom, 1-bath duplex. If I'm not mistaken, it's just me and my husband. I know it's over, I can't think of square footage, but we have a carport on the side. We don't share a driveway. Everyone has a very large backyard. We have a large front yard. It's very comfortable. We're not bumping into each other or anything like that. My mother and my 3 nieces spent the summer here with me, and it was comfortable even for all of us. So yeah, it's a very nice housing. Our particular post, the military has some kind of ranking system that they do every year, where they rank posts based on cleanliness, overall, like people that live there, their ranking, our post has won either the gold medal or the silver medal, like award or whatever, for years in a row, because it's very clean. It's very safe. So yeah, and it's very nice. Like, give an example, when my mother was here, we would have family members call her and ask her, how's everything going? Honestly, my mother would tell everybody the same thing, that, unless you come, except for the fact that you have to come through a gate, you have to come through the gate with the MPs and everything to get on post. Because we have a huge post. I think we have like 12 or 13 gates. But true enough, you have to come through the gates. Once you actually come through the gates and you get to the neighborhoods, you would never know you were on a military installation. Because it looks, you don't see, like, not in the neighborhoods, you don't see like tanks and stuff like that. No. It looks like an average neighborhood. Housing, on a military post is based on rank. It's based on availability. So yeah, you may have, and I think, I could be wrong, but I think the smallest on any, I know the smallest here. I know for a fact the smallest here, but it may be for anywhere. The smallest that they have for like a married soldier, the smallest that they housing is 2-bedroom. I know for a fact here the smallest that they have is 2-bedroom, but I think that may be everywhere. I'm not sure. But yeah, so even though it's just me and my husband, we have a 2-bedroom home. Now, we found out my husband was deploying 2.5 months after we got here. looking back now, y'all, I would have been going crazy if we were living off post and I found out he was deploying, because, you know, I would have been, you know, I feel like I just would have been out on my own. Yes, we did. I decided to stay here during his deployment, which you don't have to. I decided to stay here to focus on losing weight, because I did lose 40 pounds while he was deployed. But, you know, my mother and my nieces, like I said, they came up here with me during the summer. But I just feel like if I would have been a bit by myself the whole time, and I would have, or even with them being up here, if I would have lived off post, y'all, I wouldn't have felt safe. So that's one thing. We found out he was getting deployed. Another thing, you know, when you're coming to a different, you know, you're coming to a whole different area, true enough, they give you a list of places that, you know, they have, you know, the military has blacklisted you live in, but you don't necessarily know the town that you're going to be living in. I just feel like you may think, you know, on the outside, it may look like your neighborhood is one of the good neighborhoods, but on the inside, you may have, it may be some, you know, underlying stuff that you just don't know, that maybe the military hasn't caught to put this neighborhood on the blacklist. You know, you have to take that, because you don't know necessarily where you're moving to. You know, you're going to a completely different city. Also, you know, going with that, there may be violence. One of the ladies that's in my Zumba class, her son was killed a couple of months ago here, like 2 months ago here. And then Sunday we were in church, and the pastor was talking about over the last few weeks how high the violence and drug and just, you know, how bad the violence is getting. Y'all, I wouldn't have known that. True enough, we get, you know, like three, I think, 2 or 3 newspapers a week. We have like 2 different on-post newspapers, and then they give us another one, all completely free. So we get newspapers, but honestly, y'all, I wouldn't have never known anything. I wouldn't have known about the lady's son getting killed, except for the fact that she's in my workout class. And I wouldn't have known anything about any violence, about any drugs, any of that, except for the fact that, you know, you know, when we went to church, the pastor was talking about it. Excuse me. The reason that I would not have known any of this, y'all, is because none of that, even though that's something that happens, you know, in the surrounding towns, none of that makes it on post. None of it. We are very safe here. Nothing, you know, none of that makes it here on post. Yeah. And to be honest, how our post is set up, you know, we have PX, we have restaurants, we have all kinds of stuff here on post, because y'all is very large. So we have everything, but you still have to go off post for some stuff like Walmart or Walgreens, stuff like that. But, excuse me, y'all, there is a Walmart, there are 2 Walmarts, decent sized Walmarts, within like 5 minutes, and see the, you know, of on post. There's like 2 or 3 Walgreens within, you know, within like a 10-minute drive. Some of them are closer. Everything that happens, like most of the violent stuff, isn't, you know, it's about 20 miles plus from, you know, actual on post. So I don't even be in those neighborhoods or anything, because everything that I go to, that I do is right near post. You know, I rarely go within a, you know, outside of a 10-mile radius of on post. But that's another reason why I'm very happy that we, you know, we live here on post, because of just the aspect of violence. Now keep in mind, y'all, that no military installation is right, you know, I don't know what this is on my eye, y'all, lotion. Keep in mind that no military installation is in the heart of a big city. Y'all, hold on. I put lotion on, and it's like, I don't know, it's like I didn't rub it all in or something, and it's bothering me now. Just to give an example, you know, since my husband was at Fort Gordon, which is for AIT, which is Augusta, Georgia. It's Augusta, Georgia, but it's like an hour or so away from Atlanta. You know, so no military installation is like stationed right in the heart of a big city. So here, you know, we're still in the South. It's not stationed in the heart of a big city, but there is violence in the surrounding towns. Um, yeah, so I mean, yes, it's some stuff, y'all, that I've seen on the news. I'm just like, wow. But none of it gets on post. So yeah, like let's, you know, I mean, I know money is a factor. You know, I know you're going to look at the money aspect also, but keep in mind the safety aspect. Like I said, you know, when we first looked at it, we looked at the money, but we also looked at the safety aspect of the fact that we're going to be completely new to a whole state, you know. Sorry if y'all hear that, y'all. It's like some trucks or something. Some work trucks or something going by. But yeah, like I said, if you have any questions for me, as far as the military, if I can answer them, I'm more than happy to. Depending on how many questions you ask or what kind of questions you ask, I may even do a video response. You know, like I have said in all of my videos, I have no complaints about the military. It is something my husband wanted to do. So yeah, we don't have any complaints. We live comfortable, y'all. I'm not saying that we eating steak and lobster every night, but you know, we're also not eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches either. So yeah, you know, it's a comfortable living, but it's, you know, it's with anything. It's what you make it. Because yeah, I know people who have